Why does your brain feel fried, distracted, and mentally slow even when you're trying to focus? What if the problem isn't your discipline at all? What if your brain is being trained to fail every single day by habits that feel normal? Most people don't realize this, but the way you start your day, switch between tasks, and overload your senses can quietly destroy your ability to think clearly. And here's the real problem. The harder you try to force focus, the worse it can feel. You wake up with the best intentions, you have a list, you have the goals, you have the ambition. But by 10 in the morning, your mind feels like a browser with 50 tabs open, and 3 of them are playing music you can't find. It is a heavy, sluggish sensation, a mental haze that makes even the simplest decision feel like climbing a mountain. You reach for more coffee, you try to power through, but the fog only gets thicker. This isn't just being tired, this is something deeper. It's the feeling of your cognitive hardware being pushed to a breaking point it was never designed to handle. Think about it. When was the last time you sat down to work and felt a true, sharp sense of clarity that lasted for hours? If you can't remember, you're not alone. We are living through a silent epidemic of mental exhaustion, and most people are trying to fix it with the very things that caused it in the first place. In this video, I'm going to show you why your mental clarity is collapsing, the hidden mistake that makes brain fog worse, and a simple mind reset you can use to feel sharper, calmer, and more in control. No fake productivity hype, no motivation speech, no complicated system you'll quit in 2 days, just a practical reset built for real life. We aren't going to talk about manifesting focus or hustling your way out of burnout. That approach is exactly why you're feeling this way. Instead, we're going to peel back the curtain on how your environment and your modern habits have essentially hacked your biology. Most people don't realize this, but your brain is actually incredibly efficient at doing exactly what it's trained to do. The problem is you've spent years training it to be distracted, reactive, and overwhelmed. This isn't a character flaw, it's a biological response to a chaotic world. But the good news is that biology can be rerouted. You can clear the static. You can reclaim that feeling of being on without needing to vibrate from caffeine. By the end of this, you'll understand the mechanics of why your focus broke and exactly how to fix it without adding more stress to your already crowded life. Let's start with something most people get wrong. You probably don't have a focus problem first. You have an interruption problem first. Your brain is constantly being pulled in different directions. Phone, message, email, tab, thought, notification, scroll. It looks normal because everyone lives this way, but your brain pays for every switch. That is why deep focus feels harder than it used to. That is why even simple work can feel mentally heavy. Do you actually struggle with attention, or are you surrounded by too many things competing for it? This is where it gets interesting. Researchers call this attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, even for a split second to check a quick text, a part of your brain stays stuck on the previous task. You think you've moved on, but your cognitive resources are still trailing behind. By the time you do this 20 times in an hour, you aren't even working with a full brain anymore. You're working with fragments. Imagine trying to run a race while someone keeps stopping you every 30 seconds. You'd get exhausted and your time would be terrible. That is exactly what you are doing to your mind every single day. And here's the real problem. We've become so used to this constant flickering of attention that we've forgotten what true immersion feels like. We mistake busy for productive. In reality, multitasking is just a fancy word for making yourself progressively more stupid throughout the day. Your brain wasn't built to bounce between a spreadsheet, a news alert, and a group chat. It was built to dive deep. When you deny it that opportunity, the result is that heavy, fried feeling we call brain fog. You aren't lazy, you're just cognitively fractured. You are trying to drive a high-performance engine in stop-and-go traffic, and you're wondering why it's overheating. It's not the car, it's the road you've chosen to drive on. Now this is where it gets interesting. A lot of what people call laziness is really cognitive fatigue. And one of the fastest ways to create cognitive fatigue is bad sleep. Poor sleep makes clear thinking feel expensive. It makes decision-making slower. It makes your mind more reactive. So you wake up, blame yourself, drink more caffeine, and still feel mentally behind. And here's the real problem. You start attacking the symptom instead of fixing the reason. That's why the fog keeps coming back. Most people don't realize this, but while you sleep, your brain is doing more than just resting. It's performing a literal wash cycle. There's a system called the glymphatic system that clears out metabolic waste buildup. Think of it like a janitor cleaning a stadium after a massive game. If that janitor only gets 2 hours to work, the stadium stays dirty. That trash in your brain is what creates that slow, murky feeling the next morning. When you rob yourself of quality sleep, you are asking your brain to function while it's still covered in yesterday's mental debris. And the mistake we all make is thinking we can make up for it with stimulants. But caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It just masks the signal that you're tired. It's like putting a piece of tape over the low fuel light in your car. The light is gone, but the tank is still empty. This creates a vicious cycle. You use caffeine to survive the day, which disrupts your sleep that night, which makes the next day even foggier. You are caught in a loop of trying to outrun your own exhaustion. Clear thinking isn't a gift, it's a byproduct of a brain that has been allowed to clean itself properly. If you feel like you're losing your edge, it's likely because you haven't given your internal janitor enough time to do the job. Then comes the modern focus trap, overstimulation. Your brain never gets enough silence to reset. You listen while scrolling, you scroll while eating, you answer messages while working, you chase stimulation when your brain is already overloaded. And for a while it feels normal, until one day your thoughts feel noisy, your attention feels weak, and even resting doesn't feel restorative. Be honest. When your brain feels foggy, do you reach for more caffeine, more scrolling, or more background noise? Most of us do. We feel a dip in energy, and our instinct is to fill it with more input. We pick up the phone because we think it will relax us, but social media is anything but relaxing for the brain. It's a high-speed bombardment that forces your mind to process 1,000 different things in a matter of seconds. It's like trying to rest by going to a loud nightclub. This constant flood of dopamine keeps us hooked, but it leaves us mentally hollow. And here's the real problem. We have lost the ability to be bored. Boredom used to be the space where the brain consolidated information. Now, we kill every second of silence with a podcast or a scroll. We are drowning in data, but starving for focus. Most people don't realize this, but your brain has a limited capacity for processing new information every day. Every ad you see and every headline you read takes a tiny bit of that energy. By the time you actually need to focus on something that matters, your mental battery is already at 5%. You've spent your best energy on things that don't even matter to you. This is the definition of overstimulation. You are essentially noisy on the inside. There is so much background hum that you can no longer hear your own clear thoughts. To get that clarity back, you don't need more information. You need a fast. So what does a real mind reset look like? It isn't about some expensive retreat. It's about returning to the basics of how your biology functions. First, reduce input. This is the hardest but most effective step. Even 20 quiet minutes can help your brain stop absorbing garbage. No phone, no music, just let the dust settle. Second, choose one target, not 5. One task, one goal, one block of time. Deep focus is a muscle, and you train it by refusing to switch. When you feel that itch to check your phone, acknowledge it, and then go back to the task. Third, move your body. A short walk or a few minutes of stretching can help wake up your system and shift your mental state. Most people don't realize this, but your brain and body are not separate. If your body is stagnant, your mind will feel stagnant too. Movement resets your neurochemistry. Fourth, stabilize your energy. Water, a simple meal, less chaos. Stop the blood sugar spikes and crashes from random snacking. Your brain needs steady fuel. Fifth, protect your next night of sleep because tomorrow's focus starts tonight. Set a digital sunset where you put the devices away an hour before bed. Give your glymphatic system the time it needs to do its job. And sixth, if you want extra support, think support, not magic. Tools can help, but they should sit on top of better habits, not replace them. There is no pill that can fix a broken lifestyle, but once you have the foundation in place, certain supplements can provide that extra edge you're looking for. This reset isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. It's about deciding that your mental clarity is more valuable than a few minutes of cheap entertainment. Take the wheel and decide where your attention goes, rather than letting the world steal it from you. The goal is not to become perfectly optimized. The goal is to make your brain feel usable again, to think clearly again, to stop living in constant mental static. Most people are not broken, they are overloaded, and once you understand that, the reset becomes much simpler. You don't need more willpower, you need less friction. You need to stop the constant drain on your cognitive resources and start treating your attention like a finite, precious resource. When you clear the fog, everything else gets easier. Your work gets better. Your relationships improve because you're actually present. Your stress levels drop because you're no longer fighting your own mind. It's a profound shift that happens the moment you decide to stop participating in the chaos. Remember, your brain wants to be clear. It wants to be sharp. It is literally designed to focus on goals. All you have to do is remove the obstacles you've spent years putting in its way. Take a breath, put the phone down, start the reset. The clarity you're looking for is already inside you. It's just buried under the noise. If this helped, comment your #1 focus killer. Is it brain fog, distraction, low energy, bad sleep, or stress? Hearing from you helps us understand what you're struggling with the most. And if you want a simple, practical next step to reclaim your mind, grab the free Brain Focus Mastery ebook below. It's designed to give you a step-by-step roadmap for everything we discussed today. And if you're building a more consistent mental clarity routine and want to give your brain an extra edge, NeuroSharp is one option to explore alongside the healthy habits we covered today. It's a clean way to support your focus without the crash. Finally, make sure to watch the next video on screen because the hidden reason you wake up mentally tired connects directly to everything we talked about here. Understanding that one missing piece might be the key that finally unlocks your potential. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment and subscribe.